Okay, colored pens up. Your calculator's already out. We have mostly review, although at the end of today's warm-up I threw in something that you haven't seen before in my class. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's start at the top though. Number one, what did you get? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we got half the class is confident. We got Rashida, Michael, and then Chanel.
I got 11.
You agree. Everybody thinks it's 11 months? 11 months is correct. Very, very good. Bless you. Number two, what did we get? We'll start with Briante, then Joali, and then Valerie.
Negative 62.
Negative 62. Number three, what did we get? Start with Jedli, Yadesh, and then Gloria. Who was next? I'm sorry. What did you say? So you all agree? It is 25. Very good. Number four, evaluate the expression. What do we get? We'll start with Ezekiel, and then Selena, and then Gary.
15.
Everybody thinks it's 15? Correct answer is 15. Number five, we're reviewing an old idea. Old idea. We'll start with Joali, then Mia, and then Caesar.
100.
Oh, 100.
You sure? It's 100. Now, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm throwing in something that, again, I have not taught, but you are supposed to know how to do. But let's find out if we do. If you don't get upset. If you got all four of them wrong, don't worry about it right now. The question is will you get better over the next week or so? But let's see what we know. Number 6, 12 minus a half. What do you get? Mia, and then we'll go to Sebastian, and then Christopher. What'd you get? 11 and a half. The correct answer is 11 and a half. 11.5 is the same thing. However, I'm going to talk about decimals in a couple of minutes. And those of you who wrote 11.5, make sure you pay attention when I'm discussing fractions and decimals with you. Number 7, 12 times a half. What do we get? We'll start with Danae, Briante, Alex.
6.
Very impressive. So clearly we do know some of what we're supposed to know. Yes, it is 6. If you did not get it right, don't get upset. Don't worry about it yet. If you still don't know how to do it a week from now, that's different. Now the one that usually trips up my students, 12 divided by a half. What do we get with that? Rashida, then Michael, and then we'll go to Kevon.
I got 24.
Okay. It is 24. Very good. What about 12 plus a half? What do we get with that? Just 2 people know how to do the easiest one out of the whole set of questions? Valerie, Jedli, and then Michaela. Yeah, it's 12 and a half. So, there were a total of 9 questions. I am going to include 6, 7, 8, and 9 in figuring out your grade, but I don't want you to get upset if you didn't understand them. That's okay. But hopefully you got 6 or 7 out of 9 or better. That would be good. And then you calculate your percent. 7 divided by 9 will be a 78%. Give me a thumbs up if you got 78% or higher. 78% or higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Put your thumbs down. So, 2/3 of my class are doing very well. So now I want to open up the floor for questions. But I want to start, I'll start, and then you guys chime in with what you need questions, what you have questions on. I would like to look at number 6 and number 9 initially. Even though I threw in some fractions and you may be afraid of fractions, you may not like them, these are two that are really, really easy. And so let me start with number 9 because it's by far the easiest. When you add a fraction to a whole number, all you're doing is basically attaching the fraction to the whole number. 12 plus a half is 12 and a half. What would 11 plus 1/4 be? 11 plus 1/4. Selena? 11 and a quarter. So adding a whole number plus a fraction is easy. Subtracting does require a little bit of thought, but is just as easy, almost just as easy. Subtracting a half from 12. There's a bunch of different ways to think of it, but if you imagine a number line where you have here's 11 and here's 12, and if I go back a half to right there, where am I? 11 and a half. Now, here's where I want to talk about decimals. I know some of you convert fractions to decimals to make your lives easier, or at least you think it's easier. So you might take the half. Could someone tell us what is a half equal to as a decimal? Janae? 0.5. So you might say, oh, well, I'll just convert it to 0.5 and then use my calculator, 12 minus 0.5. But here's the problem with that, is that fractions make lots of young people and adults very uncomfortable because early on you just didn't quite get it or you just kind of built up this fear. And so what you're doing when you convert it to a decimal is you're avoiding it. And when you avoid something, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem down the line. You guys are in pre-algebra. Next year in algebra, you're going to deal with fractions constantly, and you will not be allowed to convert them. So here's the rule for my classroom, okay? Here's the rule. If the original question has decimals in it, then you can use decimals. If the original question has fractions in it, don't convert them to decimal. Leave them as fractions. Okay, so for example, question number 1 has decimals in it, so use decimals if you want to. But 6, 7, 8, and 9 have fractions in them. Don't convert to decimal, leave it as fractions, and learn how to deal with it. Does anyone have any questions about the policy in my room? Good. Any questions about 6 through 9? Caesar?
For number 8, I got 0.08.
Okay, because you didn't know how to do it. Could someone tell us Ms. Cooper's memory magic phrase that helps you divide fractions? No one remembers Ms. Cooper's phrase? She's going to be very upset when I tell her. Selena?
Keep, change, flip.
Yeah, sometimes we say stay, change, flip, or keep, change, flip. Yeah, you keep the first number, keep, change, flip. 12 times 2 is 24. I could also prove it to you if I do convert it to a decimal. Let's convert this to a decimal just for a moment and do 12 divided by 0.5 for 24. So now I have a reflection question. I would like you to look at all 4 of these. It's 4 of the same question, and all I did was change the operation. So now I would like you to look at those operations. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. When working with a whole number and a fraction, which operation produced the greatest result? Which operation produced the greatest results? What do you think, Gloria? Say it just a little louder so they can hear you over there. I don't know if you said anything louder, but okay. Division. Division. produces the greatest result when you are working with a whole number and a fraction. Isn't that interesting? Because I thought when you divide things, you make smaller groups, right? If I took this class and I said, let's divide into 3 groups, wouldn't that make smaller groups? But now I'm saying we divide, and all of a sudden it becomes bigger. Because that's how fractions work. When you divide by a fraction, you are actually increasing the result. Which of those operations produce the smallest results? Which one produced the smallest results? Chris? Multiplication. Isn't that interesting? Because I thought when you multiply numbers, they get bigger. Right? 7 times 8 is 56. You got a 7 and then you have an 8. You multiply and you get a big number. But now I'm multiplying 2 numbers and I'm getting a smaller number. That's strange. So this is something that we're going to explore over the next couple of weeks. But it's something you need to think about, ponder, and be aware of. When you divide by a fraction, you actually increase the result. Very good. Now, the rest of today's warm-up. Give me a thumbs up if you got question number 1 correct. Question number 1. Good. Put your thumbs down. What was the first thing you made a note of when you did question number 1? What's the first thing you did, Yadesh? Okay. What do we call that? What do I call it? Briante? Flat fee. One-time fee. A flat number. A number that you pay once. Very good. That was the first thing you picked out? Anyone pick out something else differently, the first thing? Rashida? Total. That's what I taught you to pick out first. Just find the total. That's usually going to lead you to a great amount of success if you try to find the total first. Because that's the end. We identify that this number represents the end, and what we're trying to find is one of the pieces that gets us that whole number. Okay? So that will help you. What Yadesh said was absolutely great. One-time fee of $265, so we need that piece of information. What's the last piece of information we needed to figure out the question? Michaela? Very good. I love the way you said that. And what is the rate? Beautiful. And what's the one word that gives you a clue that it's a rate? What's the one key word? Selena? Per. Per month tells you that you have to pay it each month. Very good. Are there any questions on anything we've done so far? Anything at all? Good. Take this warm up and please move it to the corner of your desk and leave it there for a few minutes. And on the corner of your desk should be the lesson from last time. Okay, today we go from adding integers to subtracting integers. It's kind of a good news, bad news scenario. The good news, I'm going to teach you a magic phrase that will help you a tremendous amount in being successful with subtracting integers. The bad news is this: you have to know how to add. So anyone who struggled with my last lesson might struggle some more today. But I promise you that if you stick with it, if you do the practice that I ask you to do, eventually it will start to sink in. Okay? So, subtracting integers. Here is the magic phrase that we are going to be using. The magic phrase is keep, change, change. Make sure you have it down exactly as that. Keep, change, change. It's not keep, change, keep. It's not change, change, change. It's not keep, keep, keep. It's keep, change, change. It is actually very easy to remember. You will notice a week from now that your brain is just naturally doing it. So now let me explain what it means. So everyone focus on the -8 minus 9. Here's where we are looking right now. That is a subtraction problem. Keep, change, change is only used for subtraction. Here's how it works. We keep the first number. So that's going to stay the same. That's what the word keep means. Then we have this word change. We're going to change the operation from subtraction to addition. So that's the first change. And then we have the word change again, because we're going to change the sign of the second number. We're going to flip it. So here is a positive 9. We're going to flip it to a negative 9. And what we just did was we converted the subtraction into addition. And since most of us, not all of us, but most of us are Jedi Knights and Jedi Masters of adding integers, what you just did was you made your life a lot easier. Because you're comfortable with adding, you basically got rid of the subtraction and made it into an addition problem. Now, there's a lot of people in this room who are very bright young people. Sometimes you guys are used to things instantly being understood and you can do it immediately. That might not be the case today. It might take you a little time to understand what I'm talking about with this whole keep, change, change thing. Some of you might understand instantly. So just take your time and don't try to expect yourself to understand everything instantly. Okay? Caesar, you had a question?
Yeah. How do you know that you're going to subtract and then you change it to addition? What if, like, how do you know not to change it to, like, multiplication or...
Okay, that's a very good question. This only works for subtraction questions, and it's always we convert it from subtraction to addition. That's just the way it is. So that's what I'm telling you. It's the rule. We're changing subtraction to addition. Okay? Good. So, I'm going to show you some examples of what I'm talking about. Make a quick little table. Just a horizontal line with 2 vertical lines. Doesn't need to be perfect. I have a computer that makes a perfect table for me. You don't have that, so just make it reasonable. And I'm going to give you an original question, what it becomes after we do keep, change, change, and then what the value will be. So the first example, 8 minus 13. 8 minus 13 is hard, so let's not do it. Let's convert it to something easy. So we're going to use keep, change, change. Keep the first number. Change the operation from subtraction to addition. Like Caesar said, you can't change it to anything you want. You have to change it from subtraction to addition. And then flip the sign of the second number. You change the sign from positive to negative. Now add. So I said before that it's all based on the fact that you should know how to add. If you need to use the method that I taught last time with using chips and drawing a picture, then do it. If you can use the borrowing method that I taught, do it. You want to use the number line method, use it. If you want to use your calculator, do it. I don't care how you do it, but at this point, you should be able to add 8 and negative 13 and understand that that equals negative 5. If you have questions, just hold on to them for a couple minutes. It will start to sink in. What about negative 10 minus 7? That's complicated. That's hard. I don't want to do it. So we're not going to. Could someone tell us what magic phrase we use to convert it? What's the magic phrase, Kivon? Very good. Kivon's starting to get it. Keep, change, change. Let me show you how I do it. I actually take the original question and I use my colored pen and I go keep, change, change. Just like that. And so now I can see that this is really negative 10 plus negative 7. Negative 10 plus negative 7 is an example that Danae pointed out the other day, which was when both numbers are the same, they're both negative, all you have to do is put them together as one big pile of negative. Okay? Comments, questions on either of these so far? Okay? Let's look at a few other examples. 1 minus negative 2. What magic phrase are we going to use to help ourselves? What's the magic phrase? Sebastian? Sebastian's starting to learn it. Very good. Keep, change, change. So I'll use my colored pen to help me, and I'll say keep, change, change. So now, if the second number is negative, you change it to positive. And now I just changed the question to 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is just 3. Any questions about that?
Control so you add a line to the sign.
You can. But that only works with this one case. And so you'd have to remember keep, change, change for all the other cases. So you might as well just do keep, change, change for everything. But if you like to use add a line, change the sign, it works really well also. Very good. And what about negative 6 minus negative 18? Well, that's really complicated. We have a negative number minus another negative number. So don't do it. Subtraction is too hard. So we convert it to addition. Keep, change, change. Now I have negative 6 plus 18. And when I combine those two numbers together, I get 12. Comments or questions? Okay, so now we're going to do some together from beginning to end. I'm going to model my expectation for your classwork and your homework. Now, for the first few, I'm going to rewrite the question a couple of times. But after a little while, I shouldn't have to do that anymore. The goal is to be able to save ourselves effort, not make you write things just for the sake of writing things. So 2 minus 15, that's hard. So we're going to change it. Could someone tell us the magic phrase? What's the magic phrase, Chanel? Very good. So we're going to keep, change, change. Now add. 2 plus negative 15. Give me a thumbs up if you think you know what that's equal to. Okay, Ezekiel, what do you think it's equal to? Michaela, do you agree? Yeah, it is. Negative 13. Very good. So, you can see that we didn't even need a calculator to do anything. We are using our brain very effectively. Does anyone have any questions on how we did part A? Good, we seem to be catching on. Let's see. Let's keep going. Other examples. Part B. Negative 13 minus 8. Again, it's a subtraction question. It's too hard. So we're going to convert it. What's the magic phrase I need? What's the magic phrase? Valerie? Keep, change, change. Keep, change, change. Now, Selena, you and I were talking earlier. This was the easier case. This is negatives. These are all negatives. So what am I going to do with all of them? Just add it. I love the way you had said that to me before. You just add it all together. So it's just 13 negatives and 8 negatives. What do we get overall? Yadesh? Negative 21. Very good. Questions about that? Okay. 12 minus negative 6. Some cases that look really hard are actually really easy questions. 12 minus negative 6 sounds really weird, like minus negative 6? I'm confused. But if you just keep, change, change it, keep, change. Wow. That doesn't seem all that hard. Michael, what's that come out to? 18. So things that look overwhelming, if you pay attention and you follow what I'm teaching, you actually can be very efficient and effective with what you're doing. For those of you who heard what Alex said before and weren't sure what he was talking about, he said, add a line, change the sign. This is another magic phrase that Ms. Cooper teaches. What she says is, if you add a line from here to here, now it looks like a big plus sign. So that's 12 plus 6, which is exactly what we did over there. So add a line, change the sign works as well, but the only problem is you can use it in this case, but you can't use it in either of those cases. So why have two different magic phrases? Why not just remember one of them? But it's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's what I want you to do. Are there any questions on any of these? Okay. Checkpoint number 1. You got 3 questions. You got a minute and a half. All right, what do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 confident people. Chris, Mia, and then Chanel. Chris, what'd you get for part A? What'd you get for part A? 9. The correct answer is 9. What about part B? What'd you get? We'll start with Caesar, Michaela, and then Kevon.
1.
Everybody thinks it's 1? That's because the answer is 1. And now the doozy of the question, what about part C? We'll start with Ezekiel, Michael, and then Gary. Okay? Wait, go back. You said 47? Negative 47. So we have a disagreement.
Negative 47.
Okay, someone else want to chime in what they think? Danae?
Negative 47.
So now there's overwhelming support for negative 47 as the answer. That's because the answer is negative 47. All right, give me a thumbs up if you got all 3 of them correct. Put your thumbs down. That's almost everybody. That's good. So let's up the level of complexity a little bit. What if there's more than 2 numbers? So, we've got negative 9 plus negative 1 minus 8. So we have an addition and a subtraction. We did a whole lesson a couple weeks ago about a really important concept that I said to you was not a choice. It was not something you ever choose to do, that you just do it. And here's where it applies. What was the concept that you learned a couple of weeks ago that applies here? Do people have an idea what I'm talking about? Ezekiel? Yeah. Order of operations. So anytime you have more than one operation, you have to do them in the correct order. What am I supposed to do first here? What am I supposed to do first? Got some hesitant hands, some not so sure. Yadesh? Well, yes, we're supposed to do parentheses, but there's nothing in the parentheses to do. It's just a number. So you're right, but we took care of that. So what comes next in this case? Gloria?
9 plus -1. Or -9.
Yeah, we have to do this first because the order of operations says you do addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. So you have to do the -9 plus -1 first. So that's what we're going to start with. And that we learned in the last lesson. So what's -9 plus -1? I know Selena knows, but let's try somebody else. Jedley?
-9. -9 plus -1 is -10.
Very good. It's a bunch of negatives and another bunch of negatives. It makes one big pile of negatives. We did not use the -8, so now bring that down. And now we do the subtraction. What's the magic phrase that I'm going to use to help myself? Briante? Keep, change, change. So now I'm going to not rewrite it again because I don't want to write 5 lines of work when I don't have to. Now I'm going to use my colored pen and I'm just going to say keep, change, change. And now I can see that this is really 10 negatives and 8 negatives. What do I get as a result? Michael? -18. Does anyone have any questions on how we did operations with 3 numbers? Questions, comments? Sheeta, you had a question, comment?
Yeah, it's just that you wrote -10 plus 8, and I thought you were saying it was -2 because it didn't look like -10 minus 8. You know what the second part?
Because I wrote this way up here?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I'm just putting that up there because there's no space to put it right here.
I
So-
can see that.
Okay, so if it was hard to see, I apologize. So this is what I was really writing. I was writing -10 plus, and this is how I should write it. But just to save myself a little space and time, I did it like that. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to do what makes you the most comfortable. If you prefer to rewrite it, rewrite it. If you don't need to, don't worry about it. Okay? But thank you for telling me that that was a little confusing. All right? Now you are in pre-algebra, so let's explore the algebra version of all of this. What do we do when we have to evaluate? Comment, or you were going to talk about this? Oh, so what do we do when we're asked to evaluate an algebraic expression? What are you supposed to do?
So like they give g equals -2, so we substitute the g with the -2.
Very good. You said that beautifully. So g is -2, so we substitute the -2. There's a subtraction sign. And then h we substitute with a -7. So now we put -7. Now simplify. It's a subtraction question, so Mia, what's the magic phrase? I'm sorry? Keep, change, change. Keep, change, change. -2, +7. What do we get as a result? Alex, what do you think?
5.
Correct. It is 5. Any questions on how we did that? Comments, concerns, issues? All right, checkpoint number 2. Since we seem to be doing really well and we're really confident, you got 1 minute. Remember, you don't have to copy the original questions for checkpoints. You just need to do whatever work you need to do. What'd we get? Part A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confident people. Kevon, Garion, Briante, Michael, Selena. What'd you get?
18.
Everybody got 18? The correct answer is 18. What about part B? What did we get? We got Ezekiel, Valerie, Joali, and then Gloria. Okay? Big disagreement. So you agree with her. 2. We have major disagreement. Danae. Okay, so you're leaning towards them. Anyone else? What'd you get, Sebastian? You should be frantically trying to finish right now. You shouldn't be sitting there saying, okay, I ran out of time. Jedley? The correct answer is negative 18. I'm not sure if laughter at other students was an appropriate response. In fact, I'm quite sure it's not. You can't help from laughing, but you could do it a little quieter and maybe a little more subtly to yourself. All right, are there questions on either of these? Questions, because we had a bunch of people who got 2 for part B. Caesar?
Part A, I got negative 28.
Okay, so let's take a look at part A. So, what did you do first, Caesar?
I did, because you said addition and subtraction you have to do from left to right, so I did 10 minus 13, negative 23.
Okay, well, hold on. You were absolutely right, but it's not 10 minus 13. It's 10 minus negative 13. I don't know if you were just saying it wrong or you actually did that wrong, but
No, I said it.
so keep, change, change. Now it's 10 plus 13. What's 10 plus 13?
23.
It's 23. Plus negative 5. So you said that the answer was 28. So my question is, what's 23 plus 5?
28.
So could 23 plus negative 5 be the same thing as 23 plus 5? No, so you just got a little mixed up, okay? But I'm glad you asked. Very good. Other questions? Gloria, do you know your mistake for part B? You sure? Good. Okay, any other questions? So now we have a real-world application of subtraction that we're going to talk about. Example 3, finding a change in temperature or elevation. And really, you're not going to know without a long explanation is why this works the way it does. So I'm going to tell you how it works. When you're trying to find a change in something, you actually start at the end. So look at part A. From the temperature changed from negative 47 degrees to negative 38 degrees. I want to know, what was the change? Was it a positive change? Was it a negative change? And by how much? And so here's how it works. You do end minus start. End minus start. So the end was negative 38. So that's going to actually be the first number we use, negative 38. And we're going to subtract this start, which was negative 47. Bless you. So we have a subtraction question. What is the magic phrase that will help us out with this, Kevon? Keep, change, change. Keep, change, change. Now we've got negative 38 and positive 47. What will the result be? Valerie? Not 85, no. Because we have some negatives and some positives. It's not one big pile of the same. Chanel?
9.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Yeah, it's positive 9. And what that means is we actually had a positive 9-degree change. The temperature went up 9 degrees. Okay? So this is the key right here. Understanding when you're calculating a change, you do end minus the start. Any questions? That works for temperature, and it also works when you talk about elevation. Can someone tell us another word for elevation you might have heard in science or another class? What's another fancy word for elevation? Jedley?
Altitude.
Very good. That was the one I was thinking of. Altitude. So if you want to determine the change in altitude or elevation, it's the same thing. End minus the start. So the end was negative 40. So that's going to go first, minus the start was negative 64, and then do the subtraction. Go ahead, Gary. Yeah, it comes out to 24. We do keep, change, change, and we end up with positive 24, which means that we actually rose 24 meters. We went up 24 meters. Any questions about calculating a change? Questions about calculating a change? All right, let's see how you do on your own. Everyone draw a line across your paper. You're going to do classwork in the textbook, page 37. You're doing numbers 35, 37, 39, 41, 43, 45, 47, and 55.
Dang. That's a lot in my world.
Good, I got people started already over here, over there. Excellent job. Very good up front. Very good over here. Excellent. Very impressed. Okay, colored pens, and let's see how we did. 35 and 37. If you don't have the correct sign on the number, then it is not correct. It's a totally different number. Had to be positive 25, and number 37 had to be positive 30. If you did not write the units of measurement, you can still mark it correct, but you need to start getting used to writing units of measurement. 39 was negative 190. 41 comes out to 235. 43 is negative 12. 45 is negative 16. 47 had two parts to it. If you got part right, you can mark them, you can mark them separately. So the first part says which solution. Solution B was the correct answer. and it's 24 degrees lower, or if you wrote negative 24, that's the same thing. Right here, if you wrote negative 24, that's the same thing. And number 55 was totally separate type of question. Oh, I got to move this up more. 6:40 a.m. was what I was looking for. So, if we count 47 as 2 questions, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. So make a fraction out of 9. Hopefully you got 7 out of 9 or better, which would be a 78%, and that's a good starting point. So let's survey the class first. Give me a thumbs up if you got 78% or better. Okay, put your thumbs down. It was most of us, but there was a few of us who did not do that as well, but that's okay. So now I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Questions on any of these. Questions on any of them. Christopher and then Alex. 39. Number 39. Alex, what was yours?
39.
Okay, 39 for most of my students seemed to be the most challenging question because it's got 2 subtractions in it. So let me change the question and see if it opens your eyes a little bit. What if I took that off? Would you be able to do it then? Okay, so let's start there. It's a subtraction question, which means we have to use the magic phrase. Selena, what's the magic phrase?
Keep, change.
So we're going to do keep, change, change. And now we have a negative 15 and a negative 75. What's negative 15 and negative 75 come out to, Rashida? So this, very good, this comes out to negative 90. But that wasn't the whole expression, there was more to it. We had that part. So now bring that part down, because now we do need to use it. Uh-oh, it's another subtraction question. What's the magic phrase? What's the magic phrase? Briante? So we're going to keep, change, change. Now we've got 90 negatives and 100 negatives. Selena knows how that works. Since they're both negative, it becomes a whole bunch of negatives. Negative 190. Okay? See how it works? See how it works? Feel comfortable? Good. Other comments, questions? 41. Same thing. If I were to do this, I think your life would be much easier. So what would you do here? Briante? Keep, change, change, change?
No, keep, change.
Keep, change, change. Now this is a little bit harder because we have 10 negatives and 525 positives. So it would be impractical for me to have 525 chips on a table and try and work it out that way. So what I encourage my students to do is think of how many positives would I need to cancel out the 10 negatives? Kivon? 10. So I'm going to take 10 of these to cancel out those 10. And how many of these will I have left over? Caesar? I'm sorry, how much?
15. I mean, 515.
515. So this becomes positive 515. But I made my life easier by whiting this out, so now I have to do this. Oops, excuse me. Yes, Caesar.
Why didn't you just do negative 10 minus negative 525 would be negative 535?
But it's not. That's if it was added. Negative 10 plus negative 525 is negative 535. That's the whole point, is the subtraction is too hard for you guys to understand. It's too hard for most adults to understand. So we convert it. Anyone notice anything about what we have left? 515 minus 280? Anyone notice anything about that? Rashida?
You can do it. No.
No? Say what you were going to say.
You can do it without getting negative ones.
Right. Yeah. This number is bigger than this number. We don't need keep, change, change. We don't even need to do anything except pick up our calculator. 515 minus 280 is 235. Any questions? Okay, draw a line across your paper. For the last time, draw a line across your paper. Your homework is in the textbook, page 36. You're going to do 20 through 46 even. Number 34, you're going to do part A only. So make sure you write that down. Then you're going to do 56 to 64 even. And that's a total of 19 questions. So, and your test on chapter 1 will be next week.
19.